Imagine standing alone in the middle of a vast desert. The sun blazes. Overhead, the land stretches endlessly, and then out of nowhere, you see something so strange, so impossible. You know your life will never be the same. This is the story of Moses and the burning bush, a story about an encounter that changed everything. Our story begins with Moses, a man who didn't feel like a hero. Far from it. He was living in exile, far from Egypt where he was born. For years, Moses had been a simple shepherd, tending sheep for his father-in-law, Jethro. He probably thought this was how the rest of his life would go. Quiet, unnoticed, forgotten. But God had other plans. One day, Moses led his flock to the far side of the wilderness, to a place called Mount Horeb, also known as the Mountain of God. It was there in that lonely place that something incredible happened. Moses spotted a bush, but not just any bush. It was on fire, but it wasn't burning up. The flames danced and roared, yet the branches stayed green, the leaves unburned. Moses thought to himself, I must go over and see this strange sight. Why isn't the bush burning up? Then he heard it. Moses, Moses. His heart must have pounded in his chest. He answered, Here I am. The voice said, Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Moses realized this was no ordinary fire. This was no ordinary moment. He was standing in the very presence of God. God said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face. He was terrified, afraid, even to look at God. God continued, I have seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them, and to bring them into a good and spacious land, flowing with milk and honey. Imagine hearing that the suffering of a whole nation, the pain of generations, and now God himself was stepping in to save them. Then came the shocking part. God said, So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. Moses was stunned. Me? Who am I, that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? He didn't feel brave. He didn't feel qualified. He felt small, unworthy, but God answered, I will be with you. Not, you can do it alone. Not, you're strong enough. Simply, I will be with you. Moses, still unsure, voice shaking, asked, Suppose I go to the Israelites and say, The God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they ask me, What is his name? Then what shall I tell them? God said to Moses, I am WHOAM. Tell them, I am has sent me to you. I am, a name that speaks of God's eternal, unchanging nature, not a God made by human hands, not a distant memory, but the living, breathing, active God of past, present, and future. God didn't just tell Moses who he was. He gave Moses a mission. I will stretch out my hand against Pharaoh. I will perform wonders. And in the end, you will lead my people out. In that moment, standing before the burning bush, Moses' life changed forever. He wasn't just a shepherd anymore. He was called. He was chosen, not because he was strong, not because he was perfect, but because he said yes, because even in his fear, even in his doubts, he listened to the voice of God. Maybe you feel small, maybe you feel forgotten, but remember this. Sometimes, in the middle of the wilderness, when you least expect it, God calls your name, and if you dare to answer, even with trembling hands and a fearful heart, he can use you to change the world, just like Moses.